Welcome back to another episode of Rusted Up Garage, where your host, Ricky Cloutier, and your co-host, Zachary Cloutier, and your other host, LaShawn Cloutier, are all going to bring you the 58 Rustmobile. Well, as you can see, we have moved on to the body, okay? Here's the body. What's left of it? All Swiss cheese of it. Well, I ate a whole bunch of Mexican for supper, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I am full as a tick. Whew. But anyways, we're gonna get hammering on this thing, but I want to bring you around it and show you what we got, what we're starting with, so when we're done, you know where we started from. Because it ain't gonna look much better. It's just gonna be less holy, okay? But in order to do that, I need you to do something for me. Yeah, that's right, something for me. I need you to like and subscribe to our videos and share them. That would be phenomenal. And hit the bell. The bell. Yeah, let's hit the bell. So, let's gather up our stuff, and we're going to start in the front, and we'll do the full walk around, and then I think we're going to break out the old Sawzall, and we're going to start doing some cutting. Hey, look, guys, we're back to the front, as I said, and I want to show you something life-changing. Life-changing, kind of. Well, it's not fully life-changing, but it will be life-changing, okay? We added air. Yes, I know I built the air ducts out of coroplast. Is it really a dumb idea if it works, okay? Everything outside's done in the tin. I just weren't sure what we're gonna do in here, so I just taped a bunch of coroplast together and blew it around. Now it is kind of working, okay? It works great. Like right now it's night, it's cool, there's no sun. But what we really need is, see the roof? It's just metal. And like today, it was so hot. The roof was at 150 degrees, according to the old bleep bloop scanner. Beep, 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 beep. So it's hard to overcome 150 degree ceiling, you know, with a little 4-ton unit. So, I mean, if anybody like wants to send us enough spray foam insulation to do the roof, I mean, that would be phenomenal. Okay, that would be pretty epic. But I know you're probably not gonna do that. So we're gonna work our best to try to get something up there maybe to help. But like at night, it helps a lot. Okay, we're back to the car. Zach, let's get back to the car. They don't care about our air conditioner. But I'm just saying, that's gonna be helpful, okay? Because, I mean, you guys have seen my videos. I mean, whew, I generally sweat more than a Baptist in a beer aisle. And we all know that's pretty bad. So, let's get to the front. We stripped everything off the front, okay? Obviously, there's some holes here for the old air duct stuff. That stuff's easy to plug, no problem. This one's missing all the cowl structure here for that. So, obviously, we're gonna rebuild on all that. The other issue we have in the front is the front cowl on these things, they just let the air in and the water in. And generally, they run out, on this car, they made to run out right here and right here, okay? Well, the problem is this car also has, you know, holes there and holes in there and holes over here and holes over here. So basically the water never makes it to the drains. It just makes it into the car. So our goal here is we're gonna do a little cutting and a little welding in here, and we're gonna weld in these, okay? So then the water can't get in there. So that'll seal that up. We'll do a little bit of sealant around the windshield washer thing, so the cowl will stop leaking in the car. That's the goal. Because there's just we're not replacing that. It's not happening. And then I'm thinking I'm going to make one, it'll probably be like a 2-piece firewall. Like one here, and it'll cover all this, and another piece here, and we're just going to, you know, make it look nice. So that's the plan in the front. Okay, that's easy. Okay. Where it gets a little more difficult is inside. So I'm going to bring you guys around to there, and you'll see. Okay, guys, and gals. As you can see by the looks, I think the holes are getting bigger in the floor. I'm not sure how that happened, but it has. There's basically no structure left at all on the floors. I mean, there's no structure left on the bottom of the doors either. Or the rockers, or probably the inner rockers. We don't really know because we haven't seen them yet. I've kind of pretended they weren't there. Actually, they're just not there. So, here's the plan here. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? We're going to cut the whole floor out, probably to the hump. Just take the whole center right out. And just drop it out. And then I'm going to have to restructure, because like this structure, this is actually a structure point that ties into the front mount, which ties into the toe box. That's all missing. So, think about running some 1x2 after I rebuild the rocker maybe, and then weld in some 1x2 with some new vertical bracing. And then we'll set the body back down. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, this may be a dumb idea, but then we can set, after we get all this cut out, we can set the body back on the chassis, and I can figure out where the drive shaft hoops needs to be, and then we'll put new tin in it. That's what I'm thinking, because we're going to have to make the tunnel way bigger anyways for the 6-speed. So all that's going to come out anyways. So now, let's keep moving to the back. Oh, you can stay in that hole probably. I can probably tell them from here. So if you look over here, there's nothing in here either. That's pretty much, you know, where the inner wheel tub meets everything. Is right here. And that's pretty much non-existent. Most of this is somewhat here. So I think when we come across for here, I may end up saving. I might take it somewhere in here and keep this piece. But we know we have to cut up to here for the drive shaft. Because when it bags out, the drive shaft is right here in the car. Okay? So we're not using original seats for sure, because they're not going to work. Now, here's the back part that I talked about. This pan right here that we're going to have to cut it out and extend it. And I'm still not sure what that's for. I don't think that's a factory option, but it may be. It was behind the seat. I'm not really sure what's going on there. But let's keep going to the rear. Let's go to the trunk. Well, the trunk ain't nearly as bad as everything else. So you can see back here, this is the old shock mounts right up in here, okay? So we cut them off the frame, but we know our bag mounts are probably about this high right here. So we're gonna have to just clip this bracket off, and then we're gonna cut like here, and then we're gonna cut right along this edge right here and take out this whole chunk, and then we're gonna come probably in here, and we're just gonna cut like this. Well, actually, I probably only come to about here. Cut right here and go like this, and then we're gonna cut out this tub, and then we're gonna cut out this floor for the fuel cell right here, and over to here, and then up to here, and up to here, and then back over there. And we're just gonna drop all this out. And then this will just re-tin once it's on the car. The main structure ain't bad everywhere. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's, let's just say this car, okay, for you 58 guys who I've gotten some crap from because I'm destroying a 58 Oldsmobile, and I get it, a 1 year only, the parts are hard to get, I get it, okay? Any parts you want, you just let me know, and if I'm not using them, I'll sell them to you real cheap. Okay, I got a whole front clip, everything, ball joints, top, I mean everything, the whole front end's there. Power steering front end, as a matter of fact. I'll sell you the power steering pump, because that one I found it in the trunk. It had no motor and transmission, so sorry, I don't have any of those parts. Well, I do have heads, but they're pretty bad. And they weigh 85 pounds a piece, so shipping them would be pretty expensive. Anyways, back to the car. So, that's all the cutting out and replacing we got to do. Outside the car, oh, I didn't realize that. Well, that's, well, that goes to the, well, okay. we'll fix on that later.
It's the bent the tire fire.
Yeah. The underside of the trunk is pretty much junk.
Actually, if you move, I can show them that it's junk because they can see the light.
Through it? Yeah. So that's pretty bad.
Except they can't hear it, so.
And then, you know, all of this is, we're not going to fix any of this. This is patina. We did take tail lights out so we can clean them, put some new seals and stuff in them. So not going to change any of that. Back here is probably the worst of all the rot, is this whole structure here. It's pretty bad. And the rockers are junk back here. So we're going to, in the rocker, you know, and the bottom of the door, let me shut the door for them here. You can basically tell it's, you know, the door's premier shape. So, I mean, I'm taking a car that really should be going to the junkyard and putting it back on the road. Because, I mean, there's holes everywhere. I mean, here's a hole in the door here. There's a hole in the door quarter panel here. So, we're going to put that back on with some glue. I mean, there's rot in the door here. I mean, it's just, yeah, she's rough. But it has a nice patina. It has a really, really nice patina, and we feel it's worth saving. So we're going to save it. To include the windows are all busted out of it, but I mean, they're only somewhat broke. They still work. So we might just leave on them because we can. Other than that, I mean, the dash ain't bad. It just needs to be cleaned up. And like I said, the roof is good. We're going to pull some trim and try to clean up these rockers and stuff. But I mean, there's holes up in the top of the doors. There's holes everywhere. This thing is a Swiss cheese machine because it sat in the woods for 25 years. So, at least that we know of. But I think I've jabbered my jaw enough, and you guys have seen how rough it is. Okay, so maybe this will take. Oh wow, I didn't see that hole. Look at that. That's pretty bad back in there. You see that in there? That's like I'm looking inside the car. I didn't realize that was bad. Well, we'll just have to put a little caulking in that, I guess. I just want to show you guys how bad this car really was. Okay, the frame was equally as bad, and we salvaged that. And we're going to salvage as much of this as we can. It's going to be a pretty cool looking car. It's going to be actually a really cool looking car when we're done. And it'll be structurally sound, and it will be rough because that's what we're doing. We're not going to restore on it. There's no point. And even all the chrome's trash. I mean, you look, it's all bubbled. It's all trash. The stainless ain't bad most places, but this pretty much is a parts car, and there ain't many parts. Okay, so. I know we've been getting a little bit of flack for what we're doing. I'm just trying to get that cleared up that, you know, I don't see a whole lot of other people taking 58s that should be crushed and doing something with them. Or any car. I mean, just any car. I mean, just get something even rusty, and we're showing you can take a rusty old holy car and put it back on the road and have fun with it. That's kind of the goal here. Okay, I don't really know where to start, but maybe here. Ugh, you get over here. That seems like a good start. Well, somebody cut the floors out. Can't believe it. I mean, I got to. There ain't really much there. Like, that seems slightly floppy. Huh?
Why don't you slide it across the floor?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think we can save that with a little Bondo. Well, I think that's enough rough cut. I think at this point I got to get a little more precision. Oh. Whew, I'm working up a sweat in here. I think you guys told me it's cool in here. Hey, as you can see, it looks a little bit different now than it did 10 seconds ago when you were watching. I spent the morning in here with the grinder and the cutoff wheel, and I cut everything off to the inner rocker. Nice and clean, got all that cleaned up. I cut all the rust out of the front. I basically cut everything until I got into some clean metal, is what I did. Now we did leave the back because that's still holding the car together, so I don't want to cut everything until we get our bracing into here. Once we get our bracing into here, we'll cut the back and continue this process back there. But so the inner rockers are better in areas than what I originally thought. That side is a lot better than this side. This side, I mean, it's not great. I'm not saying it's like pristine. What I'm saying is it's somewhat there. I mean, this is where the braces were. There's no metal left there. None there. These just fell off. There's no metal here. Oh, sorry. Zach's way over there. Sorry.
That's because you stopped.
I mean, he's just going around showing you it all. That's all right. It's okay, Zach. I mean, they can basically see that there's no metal anywhere. There's no metal on the top. It's pretty much all gone. It was easier to blow all the junk out. So, we also did some other stuff. I'll show you guys in here in a few minutes, but I'm gonna show you what we're building. So I'm back to like I said, I'm back to somewhat solid metal, and I got a plan. Now, I will tell you that there's 3 ways of doing things, okay? There's the right way, and there's the wrong way, and then there's the way that I'm gonna do this car, okay? And the way I'm gonna do this car, I'm probably not suggesting anyone else to do this unless you're building something like this, okay? So I've made new rockers. We're actually going to make the other one for the other side. And they go up underneath here and they hook in and they come up and they actually encapsulate all this. Now, to do this right, I'd cut all this inner rocker out and replace it. And I'd cut this outer rocker out and replace it. But there's no such thing as replacement parts for this car. And I'm not going to take the time. It's not worth the time or the effort. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's always worth the time and the effort. For this particular project, it's just not worth it for me to do all that. That's not what I'm trying to achieve with this car. What we're trying to achieve with this car is just get it back on the road and have some fun with it. But I still need it safe, and I need to be able to have the car hooked to the frame because none of the mounts are left to hook the car to the frame. And I need something to bolt our seats on that's safe. That's kind of where I'm at. And so what I'm going to build, it's going to be good and safe and rugged and sturdy. It's just what I wouldn't do on a classic. I wouldn't do it on a classic restoration project, okay? Because we're going to just cover over everything that's here. That's, I know, not the right thing to do. So we did spray everything down with the KBS rust stopper. So there's no more rust. We sprayed it, it's gone forever. It says so around the can. And then we undercoated everything. And then this piece right here is going to clip in, like I said, and come around. And then I'm going to be able to spot weld it into here and spot weld it in a couple good places here. And then once I finish fixing the outer rocker, we're going to clamp this really good and tight down bottom. I can put a couple stitch welds in it, and then we can seam seal it and seam seal it down through here. And it'll be sealed up. I mean, technically, yes, stuff can get in here, but you got to also understand, okay, this car is going to be run to car shows. It's going to do probably hot rod power tour. It's going to be ripped around for stuff like that. It's not going to see the weather like, a regular car would see. So this is going to last 20, 30 years, okay? No problem. It'll be fine for what we're doing. And again, I know it's not right. I get it. But it's what I'm doing. Wait until you see when I build the floors. You're going to be like, holy crap, he built that for the floors? Yeah, you wait. You'll see. But yeah, we're just going to cover over some stuff, seal it up, make it look decent, get rid of the holes, make it strong, and go. So, this side's done. I got to make the other one. I'll show you what we're building. And then while you're out here, I'm going to pull Zach out here and show you. We started pulling some of the trim off the car to clean it up because I knew it would be bad around the roof and around the trim. Let's just say it's a little worse than what I anticipated. But we're going to fix that too, kind of. We're going to fix it enough to make it last another several years. So, come on out here, Zach. You can shut it off and we'll get refocused out here. I had Zach start taking some trim off because we knew that anything on this roof, it sat down in here. Now, we did get lucky, and the roof is still good. It's solid. All of this is still solid all the way down through here. Somehow, the rocker got it. I mean, we caught it in time, but it was packed full. So we will obviously get all this scraped out, cleaned up, and we'll put some rust stop on this. But in the back, where we thought it was a little bad, let's say it's definitely a little bad. So that was all underneath this big trim panel you couldn't see. I don't know what we're gonna do there yet. Something, we gotta do something to stop it. But that goes right inside, so that explains the water inside the car right here. As bad as this side is everywhere, I'm guessing this side was sitting somewhere and a whole bunch of leaves were sitting right in here. Because this side of the car is way worse than that side of the car. But it is bad around here, unfortunately. Into this. A little bit into here. Now, we're not going to fix all of this. We're going to seal some of this stuff up, scrape it up, get the rust to slow down. Again, we're not after restoring this thing. I'm just trying to get it to not let as much water in and last for a while. As long as we can make it last. Which, I mean, it will. Not being outside all the time, it'll last a while. The back ain't too bad in here. The middle is good. It's really right around this lip edge, so we'll have to do a little repairs in there. This side, we didn't think there was anything wrong with it. If you remember, like the first video, obviously with the trim removed, we can see that it starts getting soft right about in here. and then here. But this is pretty solid. Not this corner isn't, you know, a little bit in here. It's dark because Zach made me turn the light off. If that helped any or not, but yeah, a little bit here, but this ain't bad. We can live with that. A couple screws to remove and stuff, but overall, same thing. And then obviously these are the screws that go through the body to hold the trim on, because they just drilled holes and bolted the trim through the body. That's what they did back then. So most of these clips are bad. I don't think they make them anymore. So we'll have to come up with an alternate plan. I'm assuming that like the extreme base models, if they didn't have chrome, they all had chrome, didn't they?
I think so.
I wonder if any of the bases didn't have chrome where you just see that black and it was just painted in.
It may have been. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know my 58s that well yet. I'm learning them though. I've learned a lot about a 58. But I mean overall, it's not bad. Again, this is minimal, kind of ugly there, but it is what it is. It's going to be fine for what we're after. So I guess, here's one rocker that we built right here. So this one's still almost dry. So here's one rocker that we built. And it's out of heavy gauge steel. I think this is 16 or 18 gauge. It's heavy, so I can weld to this real easily, all the body mounts. But now we're gonna go whip out the other one. I got the first bend in it. We'll bend the next two bends, get it fit in that side, and then Zach can undercoat it. And then we can get ready to pop this one in and tack it in place and then work through that whole front. I think that's the plan. Okay, so we have our fancy bender here. And it's barely spec to be able to bend this thickness really, and it's really not. It's almost too thick. So it is, I put it in here, I bent it. It didn't actually bend the whole thing. I bent it as far as I could and I hammered it down. I did a hammer job. Because once it's in the car, we're eventually gonna crimp this anyways. And this is gonna be crimped. This will be the new bottom of the rocker right here. So this is what the car will sit on, is that. So now what we gotta do is we need to bend this guy at a 90. And then I can take a couple measurements. This right here is the leverage 3000. It's almost too high, but it's what I got now. So eventually I get some room in here. I'll get it a little bit lower. Now it is uphill up here, so I don't want to go too far. That's real close to where we want to be. Okay, so that's that part. Now we're gonna come over here. And we gotta do a little trimming. I'm gonna go take a couple measurements, I'll be right back. So now, we know that that's 3/4. Just went and measured it. And then this is 1 3/4 inches. Okay, now we're gonna grab a cut-o-matic. I know that needs that. We know it's 4 inches because we just made one. Right, Zach?
What?
I said we just made one, so we know it's 4 inches. So we can just go bend that because we know what it is. It's going to be 4 inches. It's got to be 4 inches. Okay. And now, yeah. Then we're going to come in here, lay it down. Oh, I have to cut it first. So I got to chop it first. And then we can do that. Little back bend on it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I know my floor height is gonna be right about here. Okay, it's gonna be right here. So I'm gonna weld a piece of angle iron all the way down. It's actually right here. That's where the floor height is. Down through here, because then I can stitch weld it all the way down through, top and bottom. And then I can weld my 1x2 into that angle iron, bring it across the car, and I'll have some good contact. And then I can weld a piece of, from this mount back to this mount, a piece of 1/8 inch by 6 inch plate right in here. And that will strengthen this whole corner back up. And then when that toe box comes back in, it'll all layer right back into that. And it'll be just like factory, but different. Oh. And that is how we built the rockers. And they're nice and tight up underneath here. And then we'll just go through with a hammer and a dolly and just dolly them nice and tight once I'm finished fixing the rockers, because I need to be able to slip some of the rocker back in when I fix it on the other side. But this will give us plenty of strength for the center of this car. And again, I understand it's not perfect or not right, technically right, but it's going to work just fine. So I'm going to drill these. Zach's going to undercoat them, and then I guess we'll get ready and put them back in. So we'll bring you back after we get them fit in there. You kind of get the idea of what we're up to. Yeah, I know there's nothing here either. It's unfortunate. Well, hey guys, it's been a bit. Well, see, Zach caught me laying down on the job again. I mean, it happens. But I guess since I have you, I'll tell you what I'm up to. Should I get in a better position, Zach?
Probably.
Ah, probably. Let me get myself up out of here. I'm a contortionist. Did I ever tell you how much I hate welding upside down? It gets in your ears, it gets in your neck. Oh, it's horrible. But anyways, we put the rockers in that we showed you building. I got all them plug welded. I still got to weld down this edge, and we still got to crimp the bottom. And then what I did was I took some 1.25" angle iron, and I found where the floor needed to be, or basically where I decided it was going to be. I tacked that down through top and bottom, and that'll be my structure. So that way, when everything's sitting on it, I'm not directly on one spot of the rocker, like previous. And then I welded these two 1x2s in while I'm working on it, underneath, as you can see. And the car will actually bolt down to these. And then, once we know where our transmission is and stuff, once it's on the car, what we're going to do is we're going to make some drive shaft loops, like this, right? Weld them on, and then we'll just cut the center out. And that'll keep this all nice and strong and structural. I took this 1/8" plate and welded it on here, so we got back into some good steel. I mean, these front mounts haven't been welded on to the car in, I don't know, probably 10 years. They've been pretty well separated. So now at least the mount is, you know, tied together. So that's a plus. And I just got to weld a across there and across that. And this is done. I got to put one more brace in here, a piece of 1x1, right where I'm at. I'll do that after I finish welding this up. And then really that's the front part. We're just going to leave it like this and put the car back on the chassis. Now you may ask, why are you going to do that, Ricky? Well, it's simple. One, I need to know where the hole goes to bolt that down the frame, because we just don't know. We're going to line it up with the front holes and the very back holes, because those are staying. And we know the chassis is square. We've been through all this in other videos. So once we bolt it down, we can drill down through our 3 locations through the middle of the chassis, jack it up, put our rubbers underneath it, and then bolt it down. We did a little measuring, and the dry shaft's going to go to right here. So what we did was we welded in a piece of 1x1 haphazardly to some steel up here. Really don't really need to be there, but it's a good support. And I'm going to take and cut right along the bottom of it, take that whole chunk out, and I'm going to clean up around these wheel wells right here, because there ain't much here anyways. I'll probably end up having to cut this across here, somewhere in this general area. And then I'll just trim this down and do the same on the other side. We'll drop out this piece, and then there's a support right here that we torched off earlier. Hold the car up. We'll go get a new. I'll make new rockers like we did for the front. Weld the angle iron, weld a new cross brace in, and then for now this section should be good. Yeah, it was in great shape. This is a bolt we pushed off. Get the car out. Yeah. Awesome. You can show them that nice lovely rocker right there. That's nice. Good shape right there.
Yeah.
The time has finally come where we get to finish cutting the back of this car out. So, as you can see, I'm gonna have Zach go forward in here, and I'll talk into the camera like this. We finished up the rear rockers, and we finished the crossovers. So everything is welded in. We did a rear crossover. So everything's tied back in. That hook to the frame that was there before, but it's actually hooked better now because it's not rusted through. It's all the supports were rusted through, as we found when we were taking this car apart. So now the biggest thing is we got to cut the whole trunk out, because we need to make room for all that airbag stuff we added on the top, which is that top package tray, and the fact we had to lengthen that whole frame section out to do all that. And also where the fuel cells going in the back for the fuel tank. So the front of the car is ready to go back on the chassis. The back is not. So what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna take, I don't know, 30 minutes, and we're gonna cut the whole back of the car out and get it all cleaned up and ready. And then tomorrow morning, this body is going back on that chassis. I know it seems fast, but we're not screwing around here. It's about get it on there. I didn't want to even take it off to start with, but there was way too much work to do with it hooked to the body. And rust. Way too much rust. Worth of gunk out of this car. Hey Zach, you're probably wondering what I'm doing here with this drill. Well, I'm gonna fill you guys in on a little secret, okay? If you go to like Fudricks or one of those companies and buy body bushings for anything Oldsmobile, 50s olds up, you know, 54 to 59 olds, they're expensive. I know, I bought them for the 55 factory stuff. And it's nice stuff, but it's real expensive. So, here's a little trick that I just learned myself. I taught myself the trick. But I bought a kit for like 30 bucks from Summit with these nice poly bushings for a 55 to 57 Chevrolet. And they make like a 44 piece kit. It has enough to do the whole frame. The problem is a Chevrolet used a bigger hole than the Oldsmobile. So like right here, it don't fit in, right? No fitting. So if you take a step bit, a big one, and you drill it, look at that. Huh. Does that bushing work now? Ain't that something, huh? Exactly. So I just saved you probably, you know, $200. All you need is a step bit and just go down through. I mean, it's kind of a pain to drill them. But once you do, they just go right in. Look at that. Perfect. Put the shim on it, I'll be right at the right height. So, there you guys go. I'm gonna drill the last few, and then I guess we're gonna get old Forky out and we're gonna put the body on this chassis so we can keep moving ahead. Pretty excited about that, but I'm just gonna keep on drilling. Speakery, I don't know. We do believe we're finally ready to make these two. So I'm not doing the jacking method, I'm sorry, I'm just not, it's hot, I wanna get it done. So, we use the forklift, just went ahead and lifted it up. And get the old card out of here. Okay guys, Zach and I have about killed ourselves with sweating because it's so hot, but we were bound to get this car back on its chassis. Now, you can stop talking. It's my video. We got to now shim. We got to put some shims up underneath the middle. I'll show you if you come in here. As you can see now where we're sitting on all the body mounts like we're supposed to. Down through here. I do got to build the back one, which we knew, but we didn't want to get it clearance out of that. We'll shim everything up, get this all bolted down, shim the whole body. We'll shim everything where it needs to go. So everything cleared out real good. The rear end's right where it's supposed to be. As you can see the back. Now you can see why we cleared all this out for the back. But once this is all built back in, it's going to be perfect. So it's just a matter of now of dealing with, you know, an hour or so of jockeying the body around, but overall it's back on. So, and it fits. This is pretty much max ride height right here, like max. This is what she's got, which is a lot considering, but I want to see it sit down now, like, so I think I'm going to dump the bags out and just see what it does. Good, Zach? Mm-hmm. We're good and hot, ain't we?
Yeah.
I'm on shirt number 6 today, but we do got the car back inside. We tried to film outdoors as much as we could, but it was really hot. The camera kept overheating and shutting off. So I apologize for not a lot of footage from outdoors, but as you can see, the body's back on the car. Now we do got to finish bolting it down and getting it, you know, all the plumbs and levels and adjusted. Everything worked out great. I don't know how well you can see inside the car. Probably better now that you could. But you see how all our cross braces worked. So now I just got to drill a hole down through here. I do got to cut shims around that because obviously these braces ain't quite where the factory was as far as height and how they dropped and everything. So we're just going to put a few shims. We'll get the body leveled, make sure all the doors work good. It's so rigid now that the doors just work anyways. I mean, they're just working well. I mean, we got a little bit here, which I know what that is. That's the rear end sag, which we have a little bit. But we'll get all that straightened out. We'll get it bolted down. That's really the next thing on our list is get it bolted to the frame. Speaking of that, little work in here. I mean, obviously you can see that, you know, our 4 links up into where the seat would normally be in the car. So we'll have to, you know, we'll have to build this out, which we knew that going in. We obviously got to cut the center out for the tunnel once we get everything bolted down. Once the car's bolted down, we'll work through that. So that won't be too bad. It all fits well. We're gonna do a little bit of clearancing underneath, but not bad. For the most part, it's all good. Let's come back here. Now you see, I mean, I cut out way more than what we really needed to cut out. But again, we weren't exactly sure where everything was gonna be sitting. And it's gonna be a lot easier for me to just go back into some flat metal, bend it down, box all this in, box all this part in. Should work really well. Fuel cell will go in here. We'll cut a new flat piece. So we still end up with a lot of trunk because you figure back in here, we'll probably put like maybe the big air tank in the back and then a little pump in the front or vice versa or something. Probably the pump in the front so we can access it for repairs. So all that's going to be here, which will be up out of the way, nice and safe. Still gives us our trunk. We will work to fill somehow back up into the neck. So we will have that to contend with, but it shouldn't be bad. We washed another 16 pounds of rust out of this car today. But I mean, for the most part, it came pretty clean. I'm really happy with it overall. Like I said, for the most part, all the doors they're working perfect. I mean, like I said, we're getting a little sag in the middle, which we knew we would get, but I mean, they didn't work that good when we picked the car up, put it that way, did they? No. I mean, we had to pry them open. So the car had already started to twist when we got it because of the rot. You remember, half these mounts just came off when I was taking it apart. Literally cut the floor and the mounts would fall off. So the car was already falling around the chassis. Like I said, we literally just saved this one in time. So again, for the naysayers, this car was literally done if we wouldn't have got our hands on it. It had less than a year, and it would have been completely useless for anybody, which is sad because it's such a cool car. But we're saving it. We can only save so many, so that'd be excellent if you guys start saving some. Yeah, that'd be cool. Now, steering box is right here. This is actually the hump right in here is where the steering column goes through. So you can see how close that is. It's almost perfect. We will be, after the body's bolted down and we know everything's good, that's probably the first thing we're gonna do is get the steering column in. But it all looks like it's gonna be perfect. I'm stoked how everything's coming together for winging it. Sometimes that's the best way.
All we did is we measured like 17 times.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, it should be close-ish.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you could start with something that was a little better than this, you'd be doing better. This one right here, like I said, there was so much stuff that was gone that we couldn't take from. So we had to guess. But I think that's it for this video. Next video, what are we gonna do in next video? Body bolted down.
Well, we probably won't show bolting the body down.
Yeah, because that's just hours of you don't want to be here for that. Probably in the next video we'll be putting the motor in it.
Hooking the steering up.
Putting the steering in it. Starting to get the tunnel down through here. Getting that all established. That's probably what we'll be doing, working towards floors, getting the flooring all in it. That'll probably be the next video. We're still going to build a firewall for this, but that's all part of the floors. And I don't know, another couple weeks, and it should be a solid car, all back together. And then we got fun stuff of making headers and getting brake lines in. And we still got to put the interior in it. Interior. But, I mean, we're really shooting to have this thing done for October 1st. We really want to take it to cruising the coast, if at all possible. That's kind of what our goal is. So, that's the goal. And we will see. So, you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace out, guys.